everyone, and welcome to John Talks Indian Cinema. I am your host, the Indian Cine-MANIAC, back with another 10ish minute review. Thank you to all you over 720 subscribers for building this maniac community. I couldn't be any more thankful. Okay, let's get right to the film. The film I am going to do a 10ish minute review on tonight is the 2021 film Master. And this was recommended actually by two people. Yes, that's right. Two people picked this film. The first is a longtime viewer at L Koshi 809. Okay, El Koshi, I got to your film, all right? It took a while, but hey, I got a lot of films to watch. The second one, I'm not going to read the whole name because it is really, really long, but you'll know who you are. At M. Vijara with a Gavan Bakam Jenner UH6R. But to me, you're known as M. Vijara, okay? So those are the two that recommended this film. It's directed by Lokesh Kanagaraj, who directed three films that I really. By the way, this is a Tamil film. Three films I really like: Leo, Vikram, and Kaithi. I really enjoyed those films, and he definitely has a style. This director, the cast, and what a cast it is. Joseph Vijay, or just Vijay, who recently seen in The Goat and Leo, and another Vijay Sethupathi, who I've seen in Maharaja, Jawan, Pizza, Merry Christmas. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. Malavika Mohanan, and Arjun, who was in Vikram and Kaithi. Okay. The story. The story is about two men. One is a suspended professor played by Vijay, and his character's name is JD. And the other character is a gangster named Bhavani, played by Vijay Sethupathi. And ultimately, the story is how their paths cross. That's really what the story is. Now, there's a lot more to it than that, but if you really want to boil it down, that's what it is. Vijay is a suspended professor. The students love him. The faculty hates him. And Bhavani is a kid that was in fact, the film opens up in 2002 where a village is burning. The whole thing's in flames. And Bhavani, as a young boy, is cowered in a corner of a building as all the fires around him. And the guys who did this, the bad guys, confront him. And rather than kill him because his parents are dead, they put him in a juvenile detention center, a school. It's not really a school. And he becomes hardened physically and mentally, and ends up becoming a big time gangster. And the thing, and I loved both the VJs because they were playing very different than I've seen them play. Like VJ as JD was the before the interval was funny. He was drunk all the time. He was always falling asleep. They had to pinch him to wake him up. Very funny. But there are fight scenes in and it's fantastic because the one thing they do in these films, they did it a little bit, but not like you usually see like in a Bollywood film where all the fight scenes are in slow motion. It wasn't like that. They were going at full speed, and it was pretty cool. And the other VJ, as Bhavani, plays this horrific guy, but he plays it like not angry, never really raises his voice, and is very calm as he's killing people, as he's threatening people, on the phone. It was really, really good. And the contrast in the two was really good. So, JD gets suspended from his school for a big fight that happens over an election. I'm not going to get into the storyline too much because it's almost irrelevant. Excuse me. So, someone who's his mentor gets him a job at this juvenile detention center for 3 months. So he's going to go in and he's basically going to sleep. He doesn't really care. And the students kind of like that. Now, all these kids are working for Bhavani. And I want to make sure I'm saying that right. I hope I'm not screwing that up. Bhavani, right? Yeah. Yeah, Bhavani. So he's getting them to, when he commits a crime, he gets one of the kids to take the blame for it. And he supplies them with drugs, booze. And this is in the detention. So the cops are behind it, the warden's behind it. Not everyone's behind it. Some of the workers there know what's going on. And the kids are too scared to do anything. So they arrest him on trumped up charges, put him in this place. They ultimately end up working for Bhavani, who they never ever meet till the end. So now something happens in the film, and it was pretty awful. And there's a lot of humor in this film. And it's good because some of the more serious moments are pretty brutal. Like something happens to two kids who reach out to JD to get some help, and he doesn't respond because he's drunk and can't answer the phone, and they end up getting killed and hung in class. Now he sees that, and everything changes for him, and that's right after the interval. And he stops drinking, and he's going to do something about this. Now, him and Bhavani are threatening each other. He's going to take down, JD's going to take down all his bad businesses in town to get the kids out of it. And Bhavani's going to go after JD and anybody around JD. And that's another scene in the film where they start wiping out anybody involved with JD to get him to stop. And then there's the ultimate climax scene where both VJs have a big fight. And it's a really good fight. And then, at one point, and this is what I mean about the humor right before they do something pretty awful. He's talking to JD's talking to Bhavani, and I'm using their character names because they're both named VJ. And VJ just winds up and hits Bhavani. JD winds up and hit Bhavani in the face, and Bhavani's like, "Why would you hit me while I'm still talking?" Kind of a funny line. Well, now they get this knockdown, drag out fight, and it ends with the fight ends. JD gets the better of him because he's thinking about everything that happened, the kids, the people around him who died. He wants to save these kids, right? So he gets the strength to beat this guy up. Well, now they're sitting on the floor. Kind of reminded me of Vikram a little bit. And he starts, oh no, Vikram Veda, that one. Yeah, Vikram Veda. That's the one that it reminds me of. So they're sitting there, and now Bhavani, who's impressed with JD, kind of offers him a job. You're really good, and I could use you. And all of a sudden, JD starts laughing, and Bhavani's kind of laughing too. All of a sudden, JD picks him up, puts him on a meat hook, and just kills him right there, like boom. And I was like, wow, they were just having a nice little conversation. So I'm gonna give the story because it had a lot of teacher going in saving the school. It's not really a new story. The new story was kind of the bad guy. So I'm gonna give the story a 3. Um, it wasn't, I mean, it was a little predictable. But yeah, 3. The performances, I got to tell you, again, I don't think I've seen these two guys playing roles quite like this. They were very different from stuff I've seen them in, and I really like both of them. I thought they were so good in their own right, playing such different kind of characters. And the rest of the cast was good, but it's really these two that you want to see this movie. And I'm going to give, because of those two performances, I'm going to give the performances a 5. That's how much I liked them. Now, there was music in this, and there was a lot of music in this. And a song that plays throughout the film is the theme song, Mr. Master the blaster. And a lot of the song was in English too. I didn't even need subtitles. And that was a good song. And the dance number goes on for a long time, and it's a great number. I mean, he can move, and they get the people around him moving. The second song, he's hung over, and he starts to. They take a couch out of his place. They bring him to a field. They start playing this music, and all of a sudden you see his foot moving a little bit. Right now, his hips start moving a little bit. Now they do this big, huge number as he's recovering from being hung over. Very funny, and he was really good. Third song was the first day in the new school, and the song was "Life is short, buddy. Always be happy," which is kind of his philosophy up until the interval when everything changes. But he does after he kills, and that's a spoiler. I just gave a spoiler, but whatever. Once he kills Bhavani, he sings that again, but very differently. I really like that number. Fourth song. Oh, this is right after the interval where he throws away all the booze, and he's had an epiphany, and he's not going to be the same way he was. He's changed. He said he died that night when he saw the two boys. Fifth song is kind of a love song as his girlfriend, not girlfriend, but someone he's interested in, gets attacked on the street. And that's actually a funny scene because a little kid gets involved. The sixth song, Bhavani at some kind of blessing. And at the same time, they cut back and forth between that and JD taking down the businesses. So I'm going to give because it's not typical Bollywood production numbers. I don't want to say they're grounded, although they are. I just like, he's a good dancer. They got all the guys dancing behind him. And it's very, I say this all the time, it's very masculine dancing. It's like how men would dance if they were going to dance together. That sounds weird, but that's how I feel about it. So I'm going to give the music a 4 because I really did like the music, and he really seemed to get into it, which I liked. There was something that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, this one bit that they do throughout the movie that was very funny, and again, some of it I knew because I've seen some of these films, the references. But every time they ask JD about his past, he starts telling a story, and as the story progresses, you realize he's just talking. He's pulling the story from some film, and in fact, at the end, he starts telling a story about how he won a ticket. Him and a buddy won a ticket to go on a boat, and he met Rose, and it was Jack and Rose. Of course, he's giving the story to Titanic, but that was something they did throughout the film that was very funny. You never really ever find out everything about the guy. I thought that was a funny bit too. So my verdict on it, I'm going to give this film a 4. I really enjoyed it. Well done, good action scenes, great fight scenes. And again, for me, the two performances are what makes this film. They were both so good and so different that I really appreciate both these actors for very different reasons. But yeah, that's what I think about that one. So I hope El Koshi, it was worth the wait. Okay, let me know what you guys think in the comment section about this particular film. Okay, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and as always, please share so we can build this maniac community. Keep building, keep building, keep building. Okay, so that's it. We'll talk to you soon on John Talks Indian Cinema with either a trailer reaction or another 10ish-minute review. Thanks for watching, everybody.
हर दिल की अपनी ही ताल है, अपना ही एक राग है। हर दिल की अपनी धड़कने, अपनी ही एक आग है। जज्बात पिघले पिघले